Cybersecurity. It's a word you hear thrown around all the time, right? But what does it actually mean? It's way more than just, hackers in dark rooms. It's really about protecting the things that make up our digital world. So let's get into it. I mean, think about it. Our whole world, it just runs on data. Every single time you tap your phone, buy something online, or send a message to a friend, that's all data. Our homes, our cars, our jobs, everything is built on this invisible flow of information. And listen, we're not just talking about some abstract corporate stuff here. We're talking about your stuff, the really important things, your bank account, those private messages you send, even your health records. It's all out there in digital form. So that brings up a kind of scary question, doesn't it? If all that personal information is just out there, what's stopping someone from just grabbing it? Well, that's where cybersecurity comes in. And that's what we're going to break down right now. Okay, let's try an analogy. Picture your digital life like a house. Everything you care about is inside. Cybersecurity, that's all the stuff you do to protect it. It's building the walls, locking the doors, and setting up the alarm. And any good security system makes three really fundamental promises. First up, you've got confidentiality. This is super simple. It's the promise that your secrets stay secret. Think of it like the lock on your front door. It's what makes sure that only you can open your emails or look at your private files. Next, there's integrity. This one is all about making sure your data is accurate and hasn't been messed with. It's the reason that the $500 you have in your bank account doesn't suddenly turn into $5. It promises that the data is real and trustworthy. And last but not least, availability. This one's easy. It's the promise that when you need your stuff, it's, available. It's why you can log into Netflix whenever you want, or why your banking app actually works when you need to pay a bill. Simple as that. Okay, so now that we know what we're trying to protect, how do we actually do it? Well, to defend our digital houses, we first have to think like the people trying to break in. And just like any big heist you see in the movies, it all starts with one crucial step: casing the joint. See, a cyber attack isn't just some random thing. There's a playbook. It's a whole process. First, the attackers do their homework. They spy on the target, that's reconnaissance. Then they start checking for open doors, scanning for weaknesses. Once they find one, they use it to get inside. And only then, once they're in, does the real attack begin. And you gotta remember, attackers are lazy, just like the rest of us. They're efficient. They aren't gonna spend ages trying to smash through a steel door if there's an unlocked window upstairs. They're always looking for the easiest way in. And that brings us to maybe the most important rule in all of cybersecurity. It's called the weakest link principle. Basically, your security is only as strong as its weakest part. It doesn't matter how great your front door lock is if you left the back window wide open. So what's usually the weakest link? Well, a lot of the time, it's us, people. Take a look at this. It's a classic phishing attack. The bad guy sends a totally convincing-looking email, you click on it, you put in your password on a fake website, and boom, just like that, they've got your keys. No crazy, complex hacking required. But of course, it's not always about tricking people. Attackers go after the tech itself too. What you're seeing here is something called an SQL injection. It's a bit technical, but the basic idea is, instead of typing a password, the attacker types in a piece of code. The website gets confused, thinks it's a command, and then just dumps out its entire database. Not just your data, everyone's data. Okay, so the attacker found a way in. They're inside the house. Now what? This is the main heist. What are they after? What's the end game here? Now, you might think it's all about stealing stuff. Money, data, whatever. But that's not always the case. Sometimes the goal is just to cause chaos, pure disruption, to just break things. And for that job, attackers have a go-to weapon. This beast is called a distributed denial of service attack, or DDoS for short. The attacker uses a whole army of infected computers, a botnet, and tells them all to visit one website at the exact same time. It's like 1,000 people trying to cram through one tiny doorway. The whole thing just collapses. This isn't theoretical. An attack like this in 2016 literally took down sites like Twitter, Netflix, and Amazon for hours. All right, so we've spent a lot of time talking from the attacker's point of view. It can sound a little bleak, but this is a cat and mouse game. For every move an attacker makes, there's a counter move from the other side. So now let's flip the script and talk about the defenders. Because here's the thing, an attack is not the end of the story.
Not even close. Just because someone got in doesn't mean it's game over. This is when the defenders spring into action. Their job is to contain the damage, kick the intruder out, and patch up the hole they came through.
And really, when you think about it, their goals are polar opposites. An attacker only needs to find one mistake, one little crack to get in. But the defender, they have to protect everything all the time. It's not about being perfect. It's about managing risk and being able to bounce back.
And they've got a whole toolbox to help them do it. You've got firewalls, which are basically digital bouncers at the door. You've got intrusion detection systems, which are like fancy alarm systems that go off when they see something shady. And then you have just plain old software updates. Think of it like a repair crew, constantly walking around and patching up holes as they find them.
Now, all this tech is great. It's absolutely crucial. But it brings us right back to where we started, to that idea of the weakest link. If people are often the problem, then it means people have to be the solution. And there is one single thing, one thing you can do, that is probably the most powerful defense you have. It's called multi-factor authentication, or you'll see it as MFA. The concept is dead simple. A password by itself just isn't good enough anymore. To really be secure, you need to prove you are who you say you are in more than just one way. And these proofs, or factors, usually fall into 3 buckets. First, something you know, like your password. Second, something you have, like your phone getting a code. And third, something you are, like your fingerprint. By requiring at least 2 of these, MFA makes it so much harder for an attacker to get in, even if they've stolen your password.
So remember how we started? We said that people, the human factor, are often the weakest link. But by understanding these threats and using simple, powerful tools like MFA, that same human factor can become the strongest line of defense. The only question left is, what are you going to do about it?